What the hell, the show is still going? Hello everybody, my name is Marco Bagnoni, I'm a cinematographer from Germany, and today we talk about stranger things in the cinematography in it. I show you a few examples from season 5, and after watching this video you should be able to shoot something like this. This is the first shot we're looking at, and Stranger Things really came with a look. The Stranger Things look, everyone knows the Stranger Things look. When you're creating a new series and has a distinctive look that now everybody refers to when you're shooting something really moody, dark, punchy, vintage, you know you created something. But how do you achieve something like this? What are the essence of lighting for Stranger Things? First thing I will notice, most of the time when you have moody, dark scenes, you're pretty half lit. So you don't have this nice Rembrandt everyone is going for. Most of the time everybody tries to do a Rembrandt light, but you have to feel the emotion and the purpose of the scenery. When your character is vulnerable or in danger, the situation is serious, you don't want to make your character look pretty. You want to embrace the feeling of the situation. So they go often with this half-lit look. Then next thing, these skins is always a tad warmer than neutral. We don't have our camera on 5500 and the light on 5500. I always have the feeling we go a little bit warmer on the skin tones, so getting more around this orange teal look. Because as you can see, the background is really, really cold. Stranger Things works a lot with this classical orange teal look, but I think they do it with such a nice saturation. It's not really that colorful, but it's really dense. The color density on the show is really nice, I think. We have really to look up for it. What's the difference from saturation and color density? It really makes a difference in your digital footage. It makes your colors look much more strong and stable. It's difficult to describe, but you know the difference when you see it. Then next thing that's really special about this season is flickering lights. They're working a lot with lights on, off, moving lights. And normally this is something you do most of the time in music videos where you have to entertain a lot of people, do abstract things because we have not that much story. But here in this more abstract, devil sceneries, I can show you a scenery. You have this flickering lights, and moving lights is really powerful tool that shows that you go further and beyond in your cinematography, because setting up these lights and techniques and moods is really difficult because you need a lot of crew, you need time, you need to know where to place this to get the nice atmosphere and not ruin your normal look that you're going for. But it's really powerful when you don't go with all different colors and just stay in the color palette you're setting up, because you can see we have warm practicals, cold practicals, warm practicals. It really works and doesn't feel as unnatural. It just underlines this unnatural atmosphere, but I think it just gives still a real vibe. It's something that could happen. So there's a monster, sure, everything starts flickering, but not only does this flicker, it moves. So we have a lot of, when you have these asteras like here, it's not that they go on, off. They have animation that goes from left to right. So everything feels more organic and just not dark, bright, dark, bright, dark, bright. And they just don't work at the same time. One light is just flickering, one is animating. That's the next step. Just don't put all your lights on the same settings. They should all do different things. Next thing they do often in this show is an even backlight. I said it many times before, a lot of people just edge light one shoulder. We have here the key light, and then people will put your edge light on the scenery. But most of the time it's just not state of the art. You can see it's a bit brighter on this side because this is where the practical is coming from. But try to light more across the whole character. It looks much more natural, keep the light also softer. I don't want to see this hard backlights in every scenario. This looks very amateur nowadays. So we go most of the time with a wider carpet light to get this nice wrap. Also because of the softness we get a little better roll off, and it enhances also a little bit the hair light. What they also do, I think they overexpose their shots a lot beforehand. So this is not at the beginning at 30, 20 RRE. This is probably at 40, 50 when they shot it. And this is around 70, maybe a bit less, 30 here. And then you put it down, so in the color grade. So you get this much cleaner shadows, and overall your colors look most of the time a little bit more punchy than just doing everything exactly on the set. Next thing is when you're working with VFX. This is clearly a set extension where they replace the sky, and we have the assets from these two guys. There's two ways to do it. One possibility is they shoot it just, they were here in front of the sky, then a punch in and push in, sorry. The VFX artist had to rotoscope then and just place it into the scene. But most of the time this is a bit difficult because of hairs and everything. So you shoot these people on a green screen, do your camera movement, you put tracking points on your green screen. Would be look something like this, that you need these tracking points because here's a 3D camera movement where you go closer and then up, and the software needs these reference points because when you just have a plain wall, there's no reference points for the software to track where am I going, what's happening. So that's the reason you have these tracking points, and then you key them out. But the trick is this, when you're working with VFX, and a lot of amateur cinematographers fail with these, they just put it into the scene. They don't know how it will look at the end of the day, but you have to know what here is in the end of the day, the color palette, because you have to light your people exactly that way. You don't just put someone into the green screen, try to light them also bright. So you have to really light them like you would them in a scenery. So I want them as the silhouette, so I give them no light on the back. I just give them this warm red, this soft light. And also I would do a top light over them, which have this dark blue color to just fill in the shadows. So when you're doing green screen, ignore that this is a green screen scene. Just put the green screen there, but your lighting has to be the exact same as you would do when you would really shoot the scenery. I think this is also a color palette that really represents Stranger Things. And let's talk about color grading. Color grading is most of the time not as extreme as you think. This is pretty much the actually color that goes through the camera with just a little bit of adjustments. So you darken the sky, you desaturate it. Most of the time it's just a film stock. So, and then you enhance, then you can look, okay, maybe put the skin tones on the right, but most of the time even that is not the case anymore. A lot of color graders would tell you the skin tones always have to be online, but that's not true at all. When you look at a lot of movies, the skin is a lot greener or more magenta, because when you shot on film, most of the time your skin tones weren't perfect. You don't had color grading in the 70s, 80s, but the films look still good or even better, because nothing perfect always nice. You want this imperfection, and also skin tones can look wrong and also good when it matches the scenery. Here we want to go for this vintage vibes with this creamy reddish colors and very monochromatic. And also this sign over here, which is probably VFX. I don't think that was actually here. I don't know the storyline, because it would really be a nice addition, because this color is represented in the sky, and with blue we have the blue sky. So it really fits nice in there also as a practical. But shot would also look great without it, because we have this nice composition. Look at these leading lines. And also here's an example from where the horizon is in the center. A lot of people on TikTok will now say, no, you have to put it on the upper third, on the lower third. It depends. Here, you can do it in the center, because we have this nice leading lines that stretches our views into the center. Sure, you could extend it and put them more under there, but I think it really gives us a nice feeling that they're hiding up there, and also give us a feeling for the time of the day. So I think this really works nice for doing in the center, because it just is about those two people, and want to look at them and want to highlight them. Next is a shot from these alternative world sceneries, and you have to understand how blue this really is. This is actually not really teal orange at all. These lamps are in fact nearly neutral, but because everything else is just that blue, it feels warm. And like I said before, this is color density. It's really saturated. This is an extreme example, but when you have a world that is not real, you can go extreme, because hey, our normal world isn't in that saturation, but this world could be. So when you want to see an example where you can go again against the rules, this is a perfect scenery because the story is about a world that does not exist. So you can throw all rules away because it supports your story. Also work more with silhouettes. When you're looking for it, in a lot of movies, our actors are often in a silhouette. Most of the time when they're standing in a house where the doors open and you want to see the outside, always exposed for the highlight. It will look more cinematic than keeping something in exposure inside and trying to hold a little bit outside when you're trying to show both things at the same time. So I hope you really enjoyed this video. My name is Marco Bagnoli and we'll see you next time.